Tapos we'll check po sa Facebook. Ay, ako yung nakikita.
10 o'clock na pala, no? I-unmute ko dyan, live. Okay lang?
Hello? Oh, I'm sorry. Ayan. Hi.
Hello, Jelay.
Hello. Ma'am Chat, pwede po mute. Ayan, I think I'm live. Let us repeat it from the top because I think I was on mute a while ago and I thought we were already on live and trying. So again, good morning. Good morning and welcome to this webinar entitled Mental Health in Time of COVID-19 Pandemic. So I am Miss Marie Angelica Paz, one of the registered guidance counselors in the university, and I'll be facilitating this webinar. So first, let me acknowledge first some people to thank them. We might not have time later on. So I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Analinda G. Marceliana, the Director of Student Welfare Services Division, for initiating and spearheading this event alongside with our University Guidance Coordinator, Ms. Webena Gacos, our Career and Placement Coordinator, Mrs. Rosario C. Frick, and yours truly. So also, we would like to extend our sincerest gratitude to the Dr. Baby Boy Benjamin Nebres III, our Dean of OSAS, for all the support in this project. Also, of course, this would not be a possibility without the approval of our university president, Dr. Arnulfo Mascareñas. Thank you po, sir. So hello also to our guidance counselors, our registered guidance counselors, and the faculty in charge of guidance services from the various colleges. Thank you po for coordinating this event with your students. And of course, let me not forget to thank the staff of the Student Welfare Services Division, especially special mention to Ma'am Sha and Ma'am Jess. So thank you for all your effort, hard work, and creativity so that we could come up here for this webinar. So I think we can all come to an agreement that all of us are affected one way or another by this COVID-19 pandemic. And until now, we are still adjusting to changes that this event has brought us. So before we proceed with the discussion, let us all be guided spiritually also, and let's be prepared and in all the learnings that we may get from this webinar. So I'd like to invite our Career and Placement Coordinator to lead us into prayer. So let's all welcome Mrs. Rosario Frick. Ma'am Chat, can you please lead us into prayer?
Okay. So everyone, let us bow our head and feel the presence of the Lord. Our dear Heavenly Father, we are indeed grateful for this beautiful morning that we have. And we are so thankful and grateful for technology for us to be able to reach out our students. We're so thankful and grateful for the Bicol University administration for all the support. And we are also so thankful for the good health that we enjoy every day. And we are grateful for our students when we pray at this time to guide us with thy spirit as we continue to serve our students, that good health will be enjoyed by our students amid this pandemic. We are also asking for thy spirit to be with all of us as we continue to serve one another and help one another and stay healthy amid this pandemic. We pray for our speaker that she will continue to reach out our students, and the students will be receptive enough to be able to also be online at this time and help them in their journey, in their education. And we pray for all these blessings and guidance with thy direction through thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. So thank you po, Ma'am Chat. So thank you, Ma'am Chat, for that very sincere and heartfelt prayer. So now, so that we can maximize our time on the psychosocial debriefing to be provided by our invited guests, let's keep the preliminaries very short. So I will just introduce our guest speaker. So our speaker for today is a psychology professor, and she's been teaching for more than 20 years already. At present, She is the department chair of the psychology department at the BU College of Social Sciences and Philosophy. She is a faculty researcher. She is also a professional lecturer at the PNP Regional Training School at Camp General Simeon Ola, Legazpi City, and to various government and non-government agencies as her extension service to the community. Our speaker is a mental health advocate who is dedicated and committed in helping profession of teaching and counseling. She is one of the registered guidance counselors in the university, and it has been a pleasure to be working with her. She is married and has 2 children, so a dedicated wife and mother. So without further ado, let us all welcome the very gorgeous and accommodating Dr. Rudya Roallos, who prefers to be called Ma'am Dayang. So I'll give the screen to Ma'am Dayang. So
hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for that very kind introduction, Ma'am Jelay. On behalf of the Psychology Department and the College of Social Sciences and Philosophy, I express our appreciation to the Office of the Student Welfare Services headed by Dr. Analinda Marceliana and the Office of the Student Affairs Services, the OSAS, headed by Dr. Benji Nebres, for the privilege given to us being a part of the psychosocial support given to our students through this webinar on mental health in time of COVID-19 pandemic. Once again, good morning to our beloved university students, Bicol University students. How are you there? Are you well? Are you good? Are you all right? We should, and we have to be all right, no matter how difficult the time would be. We have to keep going. And if it is not okay with you, it's all right not to be okay. We must keep moving. We should never allow our fears, our anxieties to overcome us. Let us all be positive. Otherwise, our fears, our anxieties may cripple us. So once again, good morning. Our mental health is as important as our physical health. In fact, according to according to mental health experts, our mental health is as important as our physical health. And according to them, there is no health without mental health. We may be having a very healthy physical condition, but if we do not have the right frame of mind, the healthy disposition, and the right attitude, how to take care of ourselves, we would never be able to achieve or claim the quote or the saying that our health is our wealth. Now, what is mental health? Mental health is a state of good well-being, which every individual realizes his or her own potential, can cope with normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. This is what is stated in the Republic Act 110 1036 of the Philippine Mental Health Law. In other words, mental health is a state of being well, the state of having a healthy mindset, a healthy, good disposition, being productive, adjusted, despite of life's adversities. I remember in my mental health class, mental hygiene class, mental health is referring to having a sound mind in a sound body in a sound community or society. Before I proceed, let me just give three major points which I would like to give importance in this session. First is the importance of mental health. Second is the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic to our mental health. And third is the coping with mental health issues we are confronting in time of mental health, rather in COVID-19 pandemic. For the importance of mental health, I have just listed three. First is for strengthening our resilience. As we are faced with this global health crisis, the challenges of this global health crisis, this is considered to be the most trying time in our life, particularly in the educational institutions, in the academe, as we are adopting the different modalities, the flexible and blended learning that we are using right now. A lot of stresses are being experienced, both by the students and the faculty and the entire community. But amidst this crisis, we need to safeguard, take care of our mental health in order for us to strengthen, to build, and to enhance our resilience. Resilience is katatagan in Filipino, our ability to bounce back, our ability to cope, adjust in time of adversity or in time of inevitable circumstances. We need to be resilient in order for us to survive this pandemic. We should always remember that our mental health is as important as our physical health. Second is for prevention of mental health problems and issues. Prior to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have been advocating on mental health awareness as preventive measures through psychosocial support programs, which is a part of the mandate stipulated in the mental health law, which was enacted in 2016. This was in response to the World Health Organization report on the increasing rates of the mental health problems and issues worldwide and across ages, meaning both the young and the adults are involved or affected. The ratio given by World Health Organization is that 1 out of 5 persons is affected by mental health illness, and 20% of those affected population were teenagers. This is reflective of the high incidence of suicide caused by anxiety and depression. Now, anxiety and depression were considered to be the two most leading causes of mental disorders worldwide. So therefore, if mental health issues will never be given attention or will never be addressed in our society, this could lead to disability. And according to World Health Organization, again, mental health or mental disorders are the second leading cause of disability worldwide. and worst if it could lead to suicide or death. The third is the importance of mental health is that it is crucial in our ability to live and lead a fulfilling life. It's very significant that we are able to develop a healthy relationship with our loved ones, our families, our friends, and our colleagues, our classmates, in order for us to maintain our health. What are the impacts of pandemic to our mental health? Now, in time of pandemic, which is considered to be a global epidemic, a global health crisis, kaya tinawag siyang a global epidemic because it affects multiple countries and several continents. There are two aspects of a pandemic. We have the physical and the psychological. The physical aspect of the pandemic is said to be a threat to our lives, while the psychological aspect is considered to be the most devastating, causing a great emotional pain and trauma. So during the COVID-19 outbreak, it was considered to be linked with the outbreak of anxiety and distress, panic, which resulted in the rising concern of the mental health challenge of the general population. Those people who were infected, those who were having contacts with the infected ones, and the vulnerable population of the elderly, the children and adolescents, and most importantly, the health professionals. We have seen how people manifested panic during the outbreak. As you can see, there was this shortage in the health protective materials such as the mask, the alcohol, and even the food. This is a normal reaction because of the threat to our lives. Sabi nga niyan, it's part of the instinct to survive for life preservation. And this was supported by the report of the World Health Organization last March 2020, that the main impact is the elevated or increased rate in stress and anxiety, with a warning that as new measures are introduced, especially quarantine and its effects on many people's usual activities, routines, and livelihood. So these stress-related mental health disorders are associated with large-scale human disasters like pandemic, natural disasters, and wars, according to Troutman and his associates during in their research in 2016. Prior to the outbreak of the pandemic, if you could still remember that we have been experiencing a lot of disasters, such as earthquake, flooding, and typhoons. And so with the latest before the outbreak is the volcanic eruption of Taal volcano. As such, it also resulted into high levels of loneliness, depression, harmful alcohol and drug use, self-harm, or suicide behavior are also considered to be or expected to rise. And there is also this extreme fear and uncertainty, lower perceived health and negative social behavior driven by fear. And we also experience these stress reactions such as insomnia, fear, extreme fear of illness, even in those not exposed, and the mental health disorders which are commonly experienced, such as distress, anxiety, and depression. Now, this pandemic, as a global challenge, has adversely affected the economy and social integrity. It also resulted in affecting the loss of work productivity, the loss of livelihood, unemployment, homelessness, marital and parental problems, domestic concerns, drug and alcohol abuse, suicide, and death. I remember during the lockdown, I was disheartened when I saw the old man, the taxi driver, who was interviewed in the TV patrol, that he was airing his sentiment that he needs to go out to earn money. Sabi niya, mahirap pagka mahirap. Because of this loss of means for livelihood, almost majority of the population were affected. So the closing of schools, churches, and recreational and amusement centers has also disrupted the daily lives and activities of the people. And this circumstances has led to be the cause of loneliness, distress, extreme fear, extreme uncertainty, which we have touched a while ago. And according to the National Alliance for Mental Health, here are the common mental health issues that we are being confronted at the moment or at present. First is anxiety. So anxiety is normally triggered by keywords of being infected or someone in the family, the exposure to the virus, the primary concern about financial and reduced income, and of course the unavailability of the vaccine and the high cost of testing. Another is the obsession. There is this obsession, the disease prevention obsession, which compels one to endless washing and cleaning. And another is compelling others or those who are having these tendencies to the endless search for reading, listening, watching about the precautionary measures not to be infected by the virus. Third is loneliness. Again, loneliness is considered to be a growing concern in our society because of social distancing, isolation, or being locked down for quite some time, for several months. And lastly is the post-traumatic stress disorder, the PSTD. This is commonly experienced by those who were quarantined, rather. So this was already proven in the researches made during the outbreak of SARS, Ebola, and other epidemic. Now, what are the distress that we are experiencing in this time of COVID-19 pandemic? Okay, these are the common stresses, the fear and worry about our health. Okay, again, financial worry comes in, the loss of job and the loss of support services, which are what? Which are primarily basic to survival. Another is a change in our sleep or eating pattern. Some were able to get comfort, satisfaction in eating more. Others would have very low appetite. Third is the difficulty in sleeping or concentrating, which is experienced by almost everyone, not only the students, including the adults. So you should not worry because every one of us is experiencing this stress. The worsening of chronic health problems, as we are seeing in the reports, the worsening of mental health problems. And lastly is the increased use of tobacco, alcohol, and other substances. These are all acting out forms of the distress in externalizing. Now, how do we cope with mental health issues in time of pandemic? Here is the suggestions listed by the Psychological Association of the Philippines as to how we should care for our mental health in time of COVID-19. So I have just transferred it in the next slides. According to PAP, I'll just read. According to PAP, first is to focus on what you can control. Okay, so focus on what you can control. Follow the recommendations of the DOH and other local agencies, so that we can prevent the spread of the virus. We have to be mindful of the health protocols. Second is to adapt a regular routine at home and at work, to have a sense of purpose and order in your daily life. We have to keep ourselves busy. We have to keep ourselves preoccupied despite the threat that we are facing. So the first is we have to focus on what are the things that we can control, not on the things that are beyond our control, because the threat is really beyond our control. So what we can do is to help ourselves be positive in terms of focusing what are those we can only control. Third is to do things that make you enjoy and make you feel good. This is to balance our activities between work and play so that the stress will not accumulate in us. Fourth is the practice of empathy and compassion. We have to find ways to help those who need most our support in this time of crisis. This is the best time for us to develop and create a caring atmosphere, a caring environment to reach out for the people whom we know are really much in need, who are at a disadvantaged side of our society in terms of economic survival. Fifth is to be cautious about fake news. Avoid arguments online, and we have to limit exposure to news and social media. This is to what? To prevent panic and anxiety. And also, we must get information to proper authorities. If we want to be updated, we have to look for reliable resources, none other than the authorities. Sixth is to maintain good health and increase our resistance to illness. This is the best way for us to prevent acquiring the infection. Seventh is to stay connected to people whom you value. It's very important to stay connected, to establish our network of support, the social network of support that could give us emotional support, social support, spiritual support, and most importantly, economic support. And last is to reach out to a trusted person for mental health support. We can have our trusted friend, a trusted family member, or if it is beyond your control, we seek professional help in order for us to ventilate our negative emotions, our negative feelings, and at least to have a feeling of affirmation. I remember my sister-in-law, when she got positive with COVID, she's in Manila, all the neighbors are quite angry at them, in the entire family. But she just kept on praying. When the result was released, she was already well. So kaya medyo naibsan na yung kanyang anxiety because she just continued doing the home remedies that she was doing even during the lockdown. And for us, if ever or in case we experience being infected by the COVID virus, we have to consider the following strategies. First is to know what to do if you are sick with COVID-19. We have to contact health professionals. That's the best way to do before we make use of our home remedies. Second is to know and how to get treatment and other support. We can go to our nearest barangay or community health barangays and the LGUs to seek help. Third is to take care of your emotional health. We have to think clearly, stay calm, breathe, and we have to respond to urgent needs to protect the self and the family. It is so important that we keep our head on, our senses. Set aside first our emotion, our fear, in case we are being infected, so that we could have a very good disposition. Next is to take a break from watching, reading, and listening to news, because this can aggravate more our fear and anxiety. Again, we have to consider the source, only the authorities. Fifth is to take care of your body. Eat healthy foods, stay hydrated, sleep plenty, exercise, and meditate. We need to go back to the basic to save our health. Meditation is very important, prayer and meditation, because this can affirm us. Regardless of our religious belief, we need to reflect on the meaning of these experiences, of this phenomenon, the meaning of this in our existence. Sixth is to make time to unwind. Both online and indoor games can be considered hobbies and other recreational activities. We have seen so many who were diverting their attention during the lockdown in their neglected interests. Some would go on gardening, baking, and do other artistic interests. And last is to connect with others and to your faith-based community organization. We have to connect with our loved ones, our friends, colleagues, and classmates. According to many, the lockdown has given much opportunity for everyone to connect with our long-time lost friends, family members, and loved ones, in order for us to extend our social support and at the same time achieve social support. Now, here are some tips for coping anxiety and stress of COVID-19, which is shared to us by Ohio State University Wellness Center. So in case we are being overwhelmed by the anxiety and stresses of this pandemic, we can consider these self-help strategies. First is to breathe deeply. We can practice the breathing exercise of 6-4-8. We can repeat this several times by way of inhaling through our mouth and our nose, counting 1 to 6, and then hold 1 to 4, and then slowly release our breath, counting 1 to 8. So you can do this several times, 5 to 10 times, until such time that we feel calm and relax. So breathing exercise could be considered. Another is practice staying in the present moment. Mindfulness. You can try meditation, prayer and meditation, and guided imagery. Guided imagery is a way of somewhat escaping from the present situation, of course, with eyes closed and imagining a place where a very tranquil place, a peaceful place wherein you can relax. Because worrying will not help but or nor change the situation. Third is the use of cognitive behavioral skills. This is very important that we can manage our thoughts because our thoughts normally influence our feelings and more so our actions, our behaviors. So applying the principle of positive psychology, we can make use of positive self-talk. Whenever we feel so anxious, stressed, we can make use of positive self-talk. So example is, I will stay healthy by taking good self-care and practice infection control protocols. You can repeat this several times. I will stay healthy by taking good self-care and practice infection control protocols. Or you can think of your own statement or self-talk. I will stay healthy for me to survive this pandemic. I will stay healthy for me to survive this pandemic. See you in 3 years. Okay, so another is to stay active. Physical activity and exercise can relieve stress and is a good antidote to depression. We have to keep moving. We have to keep going. It's very important. And lastly is to talk to someone you trust. Again, when you feel not okay, if fear and anxiety begin to interfere with daily functioning, contact a professional counselor. In the university, we have so many counselors mentioned a while ago. You can contact your college guidance counselor and coordinator if you want to seek help. You can also come to me. You can just find my account in the FB, Dayang Roallos. You can message me. And 6 is practice infection control protocols, which is the basic. Washing hands, covering mouth when you sneeze or cough, wearing mask and face shield. So these are all the tips or strategies on how we can cope with our anxiety and stress at this time of pandemic. Now for college students who are experiencing so much stress during this opening of classes, let us take the recommendation of the College of Medicine of the University of Michigan and how to cope with the stresses of pandemic in the learning environment. First is to know that it is okay to feel how you feel right now. It's normal during this crazy time to experience feelings of sadness, anger, frustration, and anxiety, or all of the above at the same time. These are normal reactions to a threatening situation or to a threatening environment. Second is to maintain our routine. We have to set a goal each day to have a sense of purpose. Third is to practice good sleep hygiene. We have to maintain consistent sleep schedule at least 7 to 9 hours daily. Let me remind you, young people, teenagers, college students, if you are listening to me, that according to research, you are considered to be the #1 violator of the laws of health. Yeah, I have seen very few who are posting that they are not feeling well in the social media. They are afraid they might also catch the virus. But it is very significant that you should learn how to be mindful of your health nowadays, not only in terms of sleep hygiene, because when we are sleep deprived, our immune system lowers down, and that makes us vulnerable to acquire any illness. That's the importance of sleep as a basic need. Fourth is to stay connected with others. It's easy to feel lonely and secluded in this stay-at-home period. Fifth is to take a break. Take time for yourself each day. We have to step away from coursework and news whenever we feel so overwhelmed and stressed. We need a little time out. You can have a coffee break, listen to music, or do some physical activities or exercise. Now, let me give you some strategies on how to prevent anxiety attack according to Depression Project. First, we have to know our triggers. Your triggers could be could be one of the listed triggers. It could be overworking, having toxic people around, or examination period, reminders of past trauma, venues you feel trapped in, or large crowds could be a trigger, a family conflict, and it could also be a presentation, lalo na kapag live. No? This could be a trigger to our anxiety or stress. Now, how do we prevent anxiety attack? We can consider the following suggestions. Exercise regularly. We need to have a regular exercise in order for us to boost our immune system. Avoid toxic people. We can plan ahead for stressful situations. Do not cram or live steady too late. We need to apply the principles of time management to reduce our stresses and anxiety, prevent our anxiety attack. Fourth is a schedule of self-care time. Again, self-care time could be in the form of relaxation techniques, in the form of meditation, could be in the form of listening to music, etc. And we should try to avoid coffee and energy drinks, especially during the late afternoon sessions, because this might trigger our insomnia. And lastly, we have to get a cathartic release. We can release this stresses and anxiety through taking down or making a journal, writing it down, or talking to a trusted person, or using music. Now, what if it attacks? No? What to do if it attacks? Okay, you can consider this self-help strategies. Okay, practice the grounding exercise. How do we do the grounding exercise? We have to breathe slowly and deeply in through your nose and through your mouth, and notice the following. Okay, so we have to breathe slowly and deeply in through your nose and through your mouth, and notice the following. For you to be grounded, to go back. Kapag ka nakakaramdam tayo na parang feeling natin para tayong sasabog sa sobrang overwhelming emotional distress, we can consider noticing the following. The emotion that you feel, it is sadness, it is frustration, is it anger? Things you can smell, the things you can hear, things you can touch, things you can see. You can repeat this several times until you go back to your senses. This is an example of a grounding exercise that we can help ourselves. And if it is too hard on your part, you can have someone to help you do it, or ask someone to assist you. Again, you focus on your deep breathing and repeat one of these mantras or sacred phrases. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. You can choose any of this, or you can have your own. I release all worries. Release all worries. This is only temporary. This is only temporary. I've gotten through worse. I've gotten through worse. Or you can have your own. Yung mga sinasabi nyo minsan, di ba? Kaya ko to, tiwala lang. Kaya ko to, tiwala lang. So, if you are not alone, find a trusted person to help you if it seems unbearable. Remember, we have a lot of professionals in the university to help you, our guidance counselors, our professors. Though you can consider this quotation: living in the favorable and unfavorable situation is called part of life, but smiling in all those situations is called the art of life. We can never do away with inevitable circumstances, with life adversities. Remember, our health is our wealth. And most importantly, there is no health without preserving our mental health. Thank you so much. If there are questions, I am ready to address your questions.
So thank you so much, Ma'am Dayang. Ayan. Thank you ulit, Ma'am Dayang. Thank you for that very thorough discussion on mental health and for sharing with us some of the tips on how we could deal with the challenges we are facing right now. So let us just look for questions. For our students, dear students, you may type in your questions if you have some questions. So I can ask Ma'am Dayang your questions. There's one question here, Ma'am. Hi Dayang, how to deal with the stress and anxiety of asynchronous online classes?
Oh, that's a very good question. Asynchronous.
I
So,
a teacher is asking this.
so I guess we need a session also of stress management for the faculty. Yeah. Actually, the question is really challenging, but I can only give you at least 4 A's on how to strategies on how to combat with the stresses we are experiencing in this asynchronous learning modality. First is, of course, we have to accept. We should learn to accept that this is the new normal. This is how we should learn to survive in this new learning environment. We should learn how to live with it, and we should learn how to adapt. Accept, adapt. We can avoid unnecessary stresses. And of course, what's the fourth? We need to alter situations if there is a need for us to alter certain situations in our surroundings, that we may be able to focus on what we are going through, or to be able to cope with this very challenging learning preparations that we are to give to our students.
Okay, thank you for that answer, Ma'am Dayang. So we have to first really accept the fact or that this is the new normal, because it's the first step that on how we could adjust, or what are the changes we should do with our lives so that we can adapt well to this kind of situation. Right, Madam?
Yes, Bob. Thank you for the question.
I hope the question was answered, but if there is a needed there's need for a thorough explanation, perhaps there could be another webinar for that. There's another question po, Madam. Is it normal po na maging comfortable with sadness and stress brought by online classes? Kasi parang nasasanay na lang po.
All right. So that's a very good question. No, at the moment, because we have just started, 2 weeks ago, these are initial normal reactions because we are experiencing a drastic change and, of course, adjustment. As if we are experiencing a birth pain. But we have to bear in mind, my dear students, or to our students, that as what had been suggested by the experts, if it seems so unbearable, we need to seek professional help. If we just need to ventilate it, you just look for a trusted person whom you can talk to, whom you can ventilate, and so that you can affirm that what you are experiencing or feeling is uh, normal right now, and that is part of it because we are uh, living in a threatening environment.
So thank you po, Madam. Ma'am Diane keeps on repeating on us that we should look for our trusted others, so that it just means that we should not isolate, because the situation already somehow makes us feel isolated. So it's important that you identify people whom you can trust, so who can help you deal with the feelings, with the negative feelings such as sadness and all. So I hope the question was answered. There's another question po, Madam. Good morning, Ma'am Dayang. What are the common physical symptoms of anxiety po? And why is it not advisable to self-diagnose? Thank you, ma'am. Self-diagnosing is a common issue nowadays because some people are trying to diagnose themselves. So I'll give the floor to Ma'am Dayang for that to answer that question.
All right. Anxiety is a very broad disorder, and panic is only one. Okay, so we have to consider that anxiety is manifesting panic attacks. It could also be obsession and compulsion, which makes the person feel so tense. Hyperventilation could also be uh, a symptoms or inability to sleep. The recurring thoughts of fear and worry are there, even if the trigger is no longer present. It's still there. That's why it's very important that we need to know our triggers physically, emotionally, and cognitively, that we may be able to uh, do certain strategies to counter attack the uh, the anxiety.
See, so as Ma'am Dayang said, so there are a lot of things to understand about anxiety. So it is not good that you self-diagnose, because as we said, anxiety can be manifested through different things, and different people has their own means of dealing with such situation. So if you feel like you need the help of a professional, it's best to seek for the help of professional. So you can reach out to us, your guidance counselors of your units. Later on, we'll be posting how these students could reach to or could avail of the guidance services of the university. So, Madam, this another question, very good question. What could a person who's currently suffering from anxiety and depression do when he or she thinks that reaching out would burden others? What if that belief has already been etched on that person's mind? What words of assurance could possibly change his or her mind?
All right. If that idea is recurrent already, no? So one way to counterattack that is to stop that thought. Mhm. You have to distract yourself. Thought stopping, that you are not a burden to other people. You have to counterattack that self-defeating self-talk. You change it with a positive self-talk so that you could feel better. You have to bear in mind that there is help for everyone. There is available help for everyone.
Yes, I totally agree, Madam. Plus, there's that saying that I'd rather, for us, all of us, actually, if you'll see, a lot of people are trying to express their openness to hear from other people. They're concerned that so that other people would feel comfortable for them to share, because there's no such thing as that you are a burden to someone, because there's this saying, Madam, would you agree,
Yeah.
sadness shared is somehow parang when you share happiness, the happiness doubles, but when you share your sorrow, somehow it lessens.
Yeah.
So but not really that the other person carries your sorrow, but actually somehow the relief that you could feel for yourself. Not really that, for example, if I heard of a sorrow of someone, that I would consider that a burden to myself. Not really, but it would be actually a privilege for us to be there, to be of help to someone who's carrying some burden. So I hope that is answered. Let me just check for more questions po, Madam. Mm. Siguro one more question na lang, since it's already almost time, and then for the rest we'll scan later on and try to address your questions. Here, there's one question. Good morning po. Why is therapy so costly? Meron po ba dyang mental health professional that doesn't cost that much? My friend suffers from anxiety disorder po kasi. So, for the last question po.
Okay, that is again a very good question. No? So, of course, it's very costly because it requires a lot of training on the practicing professionals. Just like any other profession, we need thorough and in-depth training on how to address issues of individuals. But prior to the lockdown, now let me share to you that I've been practicing counseling, although it's just short, brief cognitive CBT. I do not charge because that is part of my ministry, and even more so this very present time. My cell phone is a hotline, for anyone, even a stranger who is just referred to me. I would always accommodate. I normally accommodate because one thing that I am trying to prevent, or one apprehension that I am having, is that the person might commit suicide if ever I would not respond to the need. I am also glad to share to you that my daughter, who is also a graduate of psychology, would tell me that I would not charge counseling fee or PF for counseling because the person is already experiencing depression, and then I would not want to be to burden them anymore with financial concern. So sabi ko sa kanya, galing mo pa ako habang charity ka. So as far as I'm concerned, you can reach me either through text message or through messenger if there is this need for professional help. I can also refer if I'm not available.
Okay, thank you for answering the question, Madam. In addition to that, so for students, you can actually avail of free counseling services the guide through the Guidance Services Office or under the Student Welfare Services Division of the university. So all students are actually privileged to have free counseling sessions in the school. So aside from that, as Ma'am Dayang said, there are a lot of practicing professionals who also don't charge. Although to answer why it is expensive because the practice of the profession really take years and a lot of training for counselors to know their craft. So it's not
Yeah.
just simply about sitting there and talking.
Yeah.
So imagine the casework that your counselors would need to do just to figure out how to help the client. So that's part of it. But a lot of the
Yeah.
practicing, helping professionals have their pro bono. So they do, sometimes we do our counseling for free.
Yeah.
And
Jelai, yeah, may I just add, no? Especially when we would do assessment. Assessment is really very um, taxing. It would be very difficult for us to just give it free of charge, but we can give special price for those who would want to avail the services, especially if it is more uh, complicated or the case is readily for clinical. Okay.
yes. Yeah, I agree with Ma'am Diane. So sometimes the counseling sessions are actually quite cheaper, but when it comes to assessment, so that thing could not be given for free. That's part of the sessions that cost much on the budget. So much as we would like to answer more of the questions, we have very limited time. We're past. Do you think, Mom, we can accommodate more questions? Or
It's up to you.
perhaps
One more?
one more? Sige. Let's look for one more questions. And I apologize for the others for not being able to answer your questions right now. But we'll try to go through the questions later on. Where is it? Questions. Okay. This one. So here, how about the past issues that I've already forgot and make peace with came crushing on my mind, and it felt like I'm going to start fighting again, and it's quite frustrating. It's haunting me and I don't know what to do and where to start in order to fix myself. So relapse of a trauma po, I think.
What is the question?
Ano daw, I think the student is asking what to do about past issues that actually the student already forgot and make peace with, but came crushing on my mind, and it felt like I'm going to start fighting again, and it's quite frustrating. It's haunting me and I don't know what to do and where to start in order to fix myself.
All right. So again,
Lots
that's a
of,
very good
again, issue.
question. No, so maybe the very reason why it it is coming back because something has triggered it. Something has triggered it. The present situation could have, or a certain experience could have triggered it. So, uh, much as we want to help you, maybe you can go back to where you get the treatment or the therapy, so that your history, your therapist can help you so well because of the established history and medication that you have gone through. No, but as far as uh, therapy is concerned, we need to uh, we need to practice ethically in terms of accommodating clients. No, since you have already this past history, you can go back to your therapist so that the therapist can very well help you address easily your concern.
Okay, so I think that would be it for this morning. We'll try to go through the questions later on in the comment section. But first, on behalf of my colleagues at the Student Welfare Services Division and OSAS, again, I'd like to thank Ma'am Dayang for her generosity of her time, for sharing with us her expertise on the subject matter. So also my sincerest gratitude to each one of you who took the time and joined us in this webinar. So in a while, we will be uploading the link for the post-test and evaluation, and you may submit your responses until 12 noon, or perhaps we may extend until 12:30. So the post-test and evaluation will be the basis of your e-certificates and also your attendance. So don't forget to answer the post-test and evaluation. Later on, this video would be uploaded. So for those, I understand that there are some places here who doesn't have current or electricity right now. So you can still watch this, and we'll open again the evaluation tomorrow for a certain hour. Just wait for the announcement po at the OSAS page. So again, thank you very much for sharing with us an hour this morning. So this is Miss Jelay Paz now signing off. So thank you po, Ma'am Dayang, and thank you
Thank you.
everyone for watching.